Have you ever felt like you're being played, but you can't quite put your finger on how? Or maybe you've wondered why some people seem to get exactly what they want, almost like they have a secret playbook for human behavior. Well, what if I told you there is such a playbook? It's often called dark psychology, and today we're going to shine a light into its shadows. Welcome to our journey into the art of influence. Now, let's be clear from the start. This isn't about becoming a manipulative villain. Knowledge is power, and understanding these techniques is your best defense against them. It is about recognizing the subtle strings of persuasion so you can protect your own mind and make conscious, empowered choices. By the end of this video, you won't just see the game being played around you. You'll understand the rules. So, what exactly is dark psychology? It's the study of human behavior as it relates to manipulation, persuasion, and influence, often for personal gain. It leverages our cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and social vulnerabilities. Think of it as the flip side of the coin to positive psychology, which focuses on well-being and growth. Dark psychology explores the tactics used to control and exploit. Let's start with a foundational concept, the dark triad. This refers to three specific personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Narcissists have an inflated sense of self-importance and a deep need for admiration. Machiavellians are cunning, strategic, and believe the ends justify the means. Psychopaths lack empathy and remorse. When these traits are present, even in subclinical levels, they form a potent cocktail for manipulation. A person skilled in dark psychology might not have a personality disorder, but they will certainly borrow from this toolbox. They understand that a little bit of charm mixed with a subtle threat can be incredibly effective. One of the most common and insidious techniques you'll encounter is gaslighting. The term comes from a 1938 play where a husband manipulates his wife into thinking she is losing her mind by subtly dimming their gas-powered lights and denying it. In modern terms, gaslighting is when someone makes you question your own reality, memory, or perception. Have you ever had someone say, "You're being too sensitive?" Or, "That never happened, you're imagining things?" That's gaslighting. The goal is to erode your confidence in your own judgment, making you more dependent on the manipulator for your sense of reality. Over time, it's incredibly damaging to your self-esteem. The defense? Trust your gut. Keep a journal if you feel like your memory is being constantly challenged. Writing things down creates a concrete record that can't be easily dismissed. And most importantly, talk to a trusted friend. An outside perspective can be the anchor you need to stay grounded in reality. Next up is love bombing. This one feels wonderful at first, which is what makes it so dangerous. Love bombing is an overwhelming display of affection, attention, and flattery right at the beginning of a relationship, be it romantic, professional, or even a friendship. They shower you with praise, gifts, and constant communication. You feel like you found your soulmate, or the most supportive boss in the world. But this intense idealization phase has a purpose: to get you hooked. Once you're emotionally invested and your guard is down, the dynamic shifts. The affection might be withdrawn as a form of punishment, leaving you scrambling to get back in their good graces. This creates a powerful cycle of dependency. To spot love bombing, pay attention to the pace. Healthy relationships build over time. If it feels too good to be true, moving at 100 miles an hour, take a step back. Maintain your own life, your friends, and your hobbies. A healthy partner will respect that. A manipulator will see it as a threat to their control. Let's move on to a more subtle tactic, the foot-in-the-door technique. This is a classic sales and persuasion method that plays on our desire for consistency. A person starts with a small, easy-to-grant request. For example, "Can you just sign this petition?" Because it's a minor ask, you're likely to agree. A week later, they come back with a larger request. "Since you care about this cause, would you be willing to donate?" Because you've already committed to the idea once, you feel an internal pressure to remain consistent with your previous actions. You see yourself as someone who supports this cause, so you're more likely to agree to the larger request. The defense here is simple awareness. When someone makes a small request, ask yourself, what might come next? It's perfectly okay to say no, even to the small things, if you sense it's part of a larger strategy you're not comfortable with. You have the right to evaluate each request on its own merits, without feeling bound by a previous yes. Now let's talk about the power of social proof and manufactured consensus. Humans are social creatures. We look to others to determine how to act, especially in uncertain situations. Manipulators exploit this by creating the illusion of widespread agreement. They might say things like, "Everyone thinks this is a great idea," or "We've had a lot of people sign up already." This creates pressure to conform. You don't want to be the odd one out. Online, this can manifest as fake reviews or using bot accounts to create a false sense of popularity. The key to resisting this is to do your own research. Question the source. Everyone is not a source. Ask for specifics. Who exactly has agreed to this? Can I see the data? Be a critical thinker, not just a follower. Your own judgment is more valuable than a manufactured crowd's. Another powerful tool is using guilt and obligation. This is often disguised as kindness. Someone might do you an unsolicited favor and then use it as leverage later. This is called creating a reciprocity trap. For example, a coworker stays late to help you with a project you didn't ask for help with. The next week, they ask you to cover their entire shift on your day off. When you hesitate, they might say, "Well, I helped you out last week." Suddenly, you feel obligated and guilty. The defense is to recognize the difference between a genuine gift and a transaction in disguise. A true favor is given with no strings attached. If you suspect a favor is a setup, you can politely refuse it up front. "Thanks so much for the offer, but I've got this." Or if you've already accepted, remember that you are not obligated to do something that significantly inconveniences you in return. You can say, "I really appreciated your help last week, but I'm unable to cover your shift. I hope you can find someone else." Finally, let's look at how language itself is used as a weapon. Manipulators often use vague language, jargon, or word salads to confuse you and make themselves seem more intelligent or authoritative. They might use fear then relief tactics, where they create an imaginary problem. The company is facing huge cutbacks, and then present themselves as the solution. "But do not worry, I've made sure your team is safe." This makes you feel grateful and indebted to them for solving a problem that never even existed. Pay attention to how people communicate. Are they being clear and direct, or are they intentionally obscure? Do they answer your questions, or do they deflect and talk in circles? Clear communication is a sign of respect. Evasion and confusion are red flags. Don't be afraid to say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you explain that in simpler terms?" Pushing for clarity is a powerful way to dismantle verbal manipulation. Understanding these dark psychology tactics isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about cultivating awareness. It's about building a strong sense of self so that your decisions are truly your own. When you know your values, trust your intuition, and aren't afraid to set boundaries, you become a much harder target for manipulation. You move through the world with confidence, knowing that you are the one holding the strings of your own life. This is a deep topic, and we've only scratched the surface today. But knowledge is the first step towards empowerment. Use this information not to control others, but to protect yourself and to foster more genuine, respectful relationships in your life. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. If you found this valuable, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the fascinating world of psychology. What other manipulation tactics have you encountered? Share your experiences in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. Until next time, stay aware and stay empowered.